You want the kind of story that grabs you by the collar from the very first line and doesn't let go until the dust settles, right? All right, here goes. Let me tell you exactly how it feels to come home from a military deployment, bone-tired and dreaming of your own bed, only to find out that not only is your house gone, your family's entire four-generation ranch is just gone. Not vandalized, not foreclosed, but flat out sold right out from under you by people who cooked up a fake HOA, made up violations out of thin air, and forged enough paperwork to impress even the most cynical county clerk. All this happened while I was off somewhere halfway across the world, serving a country that apparently couldn't keep an eye on my own little patch of Texas. You want to know what real shock feels like? It's standing on your own porch with a useless house key, staring through a living room window at blank walls where my granddad's Purple Heart used to hang. Nothing but sunlight slanting across empty spots where our family photos used to be. I walked the place, every inch of it, just trying to make sense. Vegetable garden bulldozed, replaced by gravel. The old mesquite tree chopped up like it's some kind of landscaping project, not the spot where I carved my initials as a dumb kid. Even the workshop, where my dad taught me how to rebuild a carburetor, had been painted over and turned into a storage closet, like our legacy meant nothing. You ever get that feeling that something's wrong? Not just wrong, but off. Like you've stepped into a movie set of your own life, and all the actors forgot their lines? That's how it felt, finding a letter in the mailbox from something called the Sunset Hills Homeowners Association, with official-looking seals and legal gibberish saying they sold my property while I was away for chronic violations and abandonment. I didn't even know we had an HOA. I never signed up for one in my life. There's a QR code, and when I scan it, their website's all stock photos, like they just searched American suburb and called it a day. The board members' names mean nothing in a town where everybody knows everybody. And the phone number? 3 states away. I take screenshots, check the website domain, and sure enough, it was registered 3 days before they claimed to take my house. Funny thing, when you dig into the fine print, you start seeing the same name pop up. Madison Wright, compliance chair. I file that away. Next thing I know, Mrs. Peterson next door is peeking at me from her window. When I knock, she looks at me like she's seen a ghost. Over coffee, hands shaking, she tells me how, a few weeks back, people showed up with clipboards, claiming they were the new HOA enforcement, citing grass height and fence violations no one ever heard of. She's got cell phone footage of their cars, rental plates, not city plates. When she asked to see their paperwork, they promised to show it after updates were filed with the county. Within 3 weeks, they posted notices calling my property abandoned and scheduled an emergency sale. She thought she was losing her mind, and honestly, so did I. Leaving her house, I spot a white sedan, windows down, guy inside fiddling with his phone and not even pretending not to watch me. Middle-aged, baseball cap, all the grace of a kid shoplifting candy. Just so obvious. I almost laughed. But this wasn't some petty crime. Someone was still keeping tabs, probably reporting my return up the chain. So, I do what I do best. I gather evidence. County records, transfer deeds, signatures that look like mine but aren't. Notary seals expired for 2 years. Stuff that'd fool anyone who hasn't spent a career chasing paper trails and picking apart enemy logistics. I built a case file thicker than a phone book, took photos of everything, and started making calls to people who know how to get things done when the system gets sticky. Turns out, the fake HOA was run by 4 people. Torres, ex-security guard with a knack for intimidation. Janet Mills, failed real estate admin who liked to gamble. Rick Davidson, a contractor running foundation repair scams. And Judy Clark, who, God bless her, was just a retired teacher roped in as window dressing. But it was Madison Wright running the show. I tracked each of them. Torres operating out of a sketchy motel, Janet at a shared workspace stuffing envelopes, Rick pressuring old folks into phony repairs, and Judy, she just wanted to help, didn't even know she was being used. Now, the thing about cons is, they're only as strong as their weakest link. And this bunch, they got sloppy. Torres ran fake enforcement loops. Janet's office had stacks of pre-filled violation notices, but no tax ID. Rick was caught hustling fake closings for houses he never owned. Meanwhile, Judy kept careful notes of every meeting. Turns out those would come in real handy down the line. I watched Madison. Big house, fancy landscaping, business calls on her porch like she owned the block. She was careful, I'll give her that. But not careful enough. As I pieced together their network, Madison's operation started unraveling. Neighbors got suspicious. County clerks started flagging her paperwork. Realtors hesitated over her title docs. Even the mail carriers were giving her side-eye. Then, the whole thing hit the fan. One neighbor measured her fence line on video. A retired JAG officer drafted a letter signed by half the block, and suddenly the county's legal department was on alert. Madison tried to hold a public meeting to shore up her legitimacy. Big speech, official documents, slick handouts. But this time, the questions were sharper. Where's the original incorporation papers? Why do the bylaw codes match out of state statutes? Why did my son get served while deployed? Each answer got weaker. Her hands started to tremble, and then I stood up from the back of the room, badge in hand. Madison, we need to talk outside. Now. That was it. The room went dead silent. She realized, way too late, that the guy she thought she was fleecing was the guy organizing the entire takedown. You should have seen her face, sheer disbelief. Out in the parking lot, I let her know exactly who I was. A general, not just a deployed vet, but the one with connections deep enough to light up every agency in the state. The convoy pulled in, army vehicles, marshals, deputies. She watched her empire crumble in real time, surrounded by soldiers who treated the operation like a live mission, not some messy police bust. Within hours, every house she'd touched was being inventoried, fraud documentation was boxed up as evidence, families were briefed, and the network she built to prey on people like me got wiped clean. Janet, Rick, Torres, they all tried to run. Federal warrants don't care if you're across the state line or hiding in a motel. Judy, bless her, cooperated. Her notes became the backbone of the case that's going to put Madison and her crew away for a long, long time. And just like that, my family's name was cleared, our property restored, and a fraud ring that thought it could prey on soldiers' families got exposed for the world to see. The best part? This wasn't just about my family. It set a new standard. Now there are protocols to protect families during deployment, more scrutiny over property sales, and a big, ugly lesson for anyone thinking about targeting folks who serve. So what do you think? Was that justice or what? Drop a comment with your state. Tell me what you'd do if someone tried pulling this on your family, and share your own stories of fighting back when the odds are stacked against you. If you believe in standing up for what's right, hit that like button and stick around. Because where I come from, when someone steals from the wrong person, you better believe karma's coming, and it doesn't knock politely.